Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Barry here. Welcome to realistically what I would say is my first cut commentary, especially on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So, in today's video, we're going to be discussing 3 things that need to be added, 3 things that need to be subtracted, and then 3 things that I think should just be continued. I'm going to start off with 3 things that need to be subtracted. The first thing that I think needs to be subtracted, they need to stop disbanding lobbies. I do think that when I used to play Call of Duty, whether it was Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, I came from more or less those older generation games when the toxicity was at its peak. I do think that back then, when you were in game chat and you could talk shit,
Fucking game and talking.
Shoot a gun, dog. Learn how to fucking shoot a gun, you
fucking
pussy
riot
bitch.
shield. What else am I gonna do?
Oh, riot shield! I'm a pussy that use riot shield!
to a bunch of grown adults and then smoke them, it was fun to be able to play them again. And now with the new skill-based matchmaking and all that stuff and just disbanding lobbies and then putting them all back together again, it doesn't make the game nearly as fun. Keeping lobbies together is a lot better for the community just because that's how the game was built. That's how people made their memories. That's how a lot of people made friends too. It's just better for the community. The next point, in my opinion, this is obviously pertains to Warzone purely, Gulag. The old Gulag, the old showers in Verdansk was the best Gulag. I think we can all agree that that was purely the best Gulag. However, I do think that this Gulag is terrible. Not only is the actual layout of it terrible because there's no lanes, it is just a wide open fucking square. It might as well just be a coliseum. It's terrible. And then no matter what happens, my Gulag partner plays like they've never held a fucking controller in their life. Buddy, start shooting! Shoot them! They don't know what they're doing. The amount of times, and I will pull up the clip if I can find it. He's standing there looking at him, trying to stick him. He's behind him, and he couldn't fucking shoot. Oh my fucking god! The amount of times I've had a Gulag partner just looking at the enemy is, oh my god, it makes me want to throw up. It's terrible. I do think that the fact that you have a teammate in the Gulag, it's just not a good idea. More often than not, they're the ones that fuck me over every single time. And it's just the way it is. The last point that I think that they need to remove is, I think, the most universally hated thing in the world. It's the border crossing map. The border crossing map in and of itself has got to be the worst thing I've ever seen created on a Call of Duty in my life. This, of course, is including different maps such as Derail. That map was a fucking dumpster fire. This also includes different things like in the old Call of Duties, the Holger. The Holger was the worst thing known to man in MW 2019. There's things that have been bad, but you can still live with it. I can't get into a game on border crossing and like live with myself after. It's terrible. You have one lane that is, it's cars, but it might as well be explosive fucking barrels filled with gasoline, because if you throw one grenade, the whole map blows up. You have another lane that is about the thickness of a fucking bullet because it's just a little hallway. And then you have the third lane that is just like 4 trucks on a fucking road and is wide open and it's like a bridge and you can shoot under the truck. It's fucking stupid. There's 0 level change in the whole map besides unless you want to stand out in the open on a fucking truck. You can't give callouts. You can't see anybody. You can shoot through the car windows. You have no idea where you're being hit from. God forbid you play this map on Search and Destroy. It is the worst map I've ever seen in my life. Next thing we're going to get into is things that I think need to be added into the game. The first one is more maps, including border crossing, which I would hardly call a fucking map, but there's 10 maps that upon release. There's 10 maps right now. One of them isn't even fucking playable, and another one, well, actually, I'm not going to diss the Raceway. It's not that bad. But, so that makes it basically 9 maps that people would like to play. And I'll take Black Ops 2, for example. Black Ops 2 had 14 maps on release. And those 14 maps were all really, really, really fucking good. So you can't, there wasn't a border crossing along with those 14 maps. There were some maps that were better than others, obviously, like every game has. However, there wasn't a awful map on that in the release. So I do think that getting more maps, I'm sure they will upon season's release and stuff like that. Like with more seasons comes more maps and more things. But I do think that they kind of rushed how many, like they just rushed it. There should have been more maps upon release, and I hope to God that they start adding more in for multiplayer. The next thing is is pertained to Warzone itself. You can do it in multiplayer, but you can't do it in Warzone for whatever reason. I really don't understand why they released it without this. But custom perk packages. Why is it that I need to sacrifice certain perks that I already have unlocked that I can do? I can use the same perk packages in multiplayer, but I can't make custom perk packages in Warzone. This isn't like some sort of complaint like the movement complaint where people are complaining about all this, that, and the other. This is something basic. It makes everything completely fair. You can't have a meta perk package. You can't, like, it basically, obviously there are perk packages I think that are better than others, but it does make it dead even. You have a choice. This is it. This is what you get what you get. Like, pick your poison. You're going to have some good perks in your perk package. You're going to have some bad ones. The next thing is the play again feature. This is Warzone only. But why is it that every single time that I die in a game of Warzone, I can't just play again from that screen? I have to back out all the way, bring all my friends with me, and then get to this screen with the start button, and then press play again. But that's a very small complaint. That's just missing a button. I think that they are actually going to add that. I just think that they overlooked it. But that goes to another point of why are they overlooking such basic things. Now, the last 3 points I'm going to make are things that I think that the game does really, really well. And I hope to God that they continue them in future games. Number one is, actually all three of these are Warzone related. Then the first thing that I hope that they continue to do is the split circles. Now, I haven't been playing a lot of quads or a lot of solos. I usually just play duos. But in duos, they do a lot of, when the third circle comes around and the loadouts are dropping, the circles, there's not just one, there's two. And that kind of changes the mojo of the game because it makes people move a lot more. You have to literally completely leave the circle. The whole circle moves. You have to get into a completely different area, and it makes people die. It creates action outside to basically get campers moving because, I mean, we all know how bad campers are in this game. But I do think that splitting circles is a huge deal. And it kind of leads me into my next point of the late loadout. I like how late the loadouts drop in this game. It makes them so much more valuable. If you can get into a stronghold and get your loadout, getting your perks, getting everything like that, it makes it so much bigger of a help to you. And with the split circles, dropping loadouts, I do think that there's things that they need to improve with the loadouts. One being the custom perk packages, and two, the fact that the imagery drops whenever someone touches it. It's a bit of a bitch. But I do like how there's 3 loadouts. You can hit all 3. You can get all your guns, but you have to basically fight everybody for the same loadout. And it's kind of, it's interesting. I like that. But it makes the loadouts so much more valuable. And then the last thing, and I know that everybody thinks the same. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that proximity chat is now a thing in Warzone. And I think that this is single-handedly the best addition that I think I've ever seen in a Call of Duty. I do think that it couldn't have been a better decision. The amount of content that we've seen from proximity chat has been unbelievable. The community has been thriving thanks to proximity chat, and it makes Warzone 2, it gave it a completely different feel. I do think that there's things they need to tweak. I personally have found a bit of a exploit. If I'm in a party chat, I can still see that people are on proximity chat near me, but they can't see that I'm near them because I'm in a party chat. I do think that that's a bit of an exploit because, you know, it's not really fair that I can see them and they can't see me, but that's not here nor there. I do think that proximity chat is one of the funniest and most refreshing things I've ever seen them add into a Call of Duty in my life. And honestly, I really hope that they keep it because it is just it's fucking hilarious. And I met one of my, like, honestly, I met the nicest dude on proximity chat in a game of solos. Merc, if you're watching this, I'm talking about you, man. Like, he's been in my last couple of videos. He's been fantastic. And honestly, it makes the community, not only is the creating friends so much easier on proximity chat because you can talk to literally everybody in the game, but also, and this is just my own point of view, it makes talking shit so much fun. I love talking shit in game, and honestly, proximity chat's just the best. However, that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and also let me know down in the comments what you think is good about the game, what you think is bad about the game. Give me some things that you think should be added, subtracted. keep going. What's your opinion on proximity chat? And also, give me your opinion on the border crossing map. If there's one person that tells me that it's good, I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do something because that's crazy. You're absolutely out of your fucking mind. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.